Did last night really happen? I mean, Geno was unstoppable, but I have a lot of concerns when it comes to Nathan Hackett in the Broncos. One of those things where I said on paper they look good, and they weren't bad, but Nathan Hackett's clock management at the end of the game, what was that? Easily could have gotten more upfield, man. Like, he lost them that game, and it's not even debatable. Also, hopefully my mic is sounding better. I think I fixed the problem. I spent a lot of time working on it yesterday because I went to Best Buy and couldn't find a new one, so I think it's good now, though. Like, seriously, I don't think there's any problems. Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Happy Tuesday. Today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys something called the Low. L-O-E. What does that mean, you might ask? It means the list of elite. 10 players from week 1 that I think did exceptionally well. And I'm doing my best to make it, like somewhat unique, not just obvious players. Like, I do not have Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen on here. Easily could, but like, guys, we expect big games from them. They're legitimate superhumans. I went more so with the people who, did well, but didn't get a lot of attention. There is a couple superstars on here, but not all of them. Couple of things before we get into the video. 1, head over to gfuel.com. Use code WyattzWorld. Save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products. And 2, if you're 18 years or older, you can download the daily fantasy app known as Prize Picks and use code WyattzWorld to match up to $100 of your first deposit. Always play responsibly, and let's get into the video. Okay, so real quick before we get into the actual low, I'm going to give you guys 3 bums from this weekend. Jalen Ramsey, Christian Watson, Najee Harris. Not good, guys. Not good. Najee Harris, man, my friend said it the best. It looked like he was running in slow motion. Okay, so now starting with the list of elite, I would also like to mention this is in no order, no ranking at all. It's just 10 players. So starting off with the first player, I'll give it to Geno Smith from last night's performance. This man was unstoppable. He was expected to get absolutely murdered by everyone, including myself. However, he went out there and completed 82% of his passes, throwing for 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, and carrying a 118 passer rating. This guy came out of West Virginia like 10 years ago after having one of the most prolific college seasons ever with Tavon Austin. Much like Tavon Austin, as soon as he hit the NFL, he just fizzled out and he's bounced around on like 10 teams ever since. I don't think he's ever been close to anybody's top 10, top 15, or top 20 quarterback. I don't think he's ever made a top list at all, but this week he did make the list of elite because Geno Smith, you in fact were a king. Alright, next player on the list, we'll get the superstar out of the way, Justin Jefferson. Dude, he did too good not to acknowledge. He didn't have a Jamar Chase or AJ Brown elite week. He had a god week, 184 yards, 9 receptions, and 2 touchdowns against one of the best defenses in the league. Dude, I've already said it yesterday, and I mean it. Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football. One thing I noticed from him in Sunday's game, and I think it was the second touchdown, is how instinctual of a receiver he is. It's just in his body. It's in his head, his blood. He knows what to do, what moves to make on instinct. He doesn't need to think about it. That's what I think allows him to be so dangerous because he sees a DB. He's not thinking about what he needs to do to get around him. He's thinking about what he's doing after he gets past him because he knows half the time or more he's gonna break the first tackle. He's an absolute freak, dude. Justin Jefferson, you've made the low. Okay, next player. This is going to be a fun one. We've got my boy, Jerry Hughes on the Texans, former Buffalo Bill. I miss you, man. Guarantee if he wasn't on that team, they would have lost. 2 sacks, 3 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. Like, he was a dog. Jerry, you might not hear appraisal from the rest of the world, but this week you're going to hear it from me. You've made the low. And also, to compliment Jerry Hughes, I would like to talk about 2 more people on the Texans defense. Jonathan Owens, and I'm going to butcher his name, but Kamu Grugier-Hill. Owens is a DB, Hill is a linebacker. They are leading the entire league in tackles right now, 1 and 2. Now, I do want to point out, I don't think they're solo tackles. One of them has 11 solo tackles, but it's just the fact that, I mean, if they're going to be that physical of a defense this year as a whole unit, Texans might actually do a lot better than people think. All right, next player, I'll give it to him, Saquon Barkley. 18 attempts for 164 yards, 1 touchdown, and 6 receptions. Guys, that's a quarter of the yards he had last year, and that's more yards than he had 2 years ago already. I want to say that's the best game Saquon Barkley's had since 2019. I'll reiterate again what I said last week. If the Giants were to pull that off, I said Saquon would have to be him again, and he was. Which is great to see, because I'm not going to lie, if I had to bet money on it, I would have said he would have went out there and sucked. I think with Dayball as head coach there, things are going to change there a lot, but Saquon's production will probably be one of the most severe. And I mean that it's going to go up. But as always, it's up to him to do anything with that. But as far as week 1 goes, he exceeded the world's expectations, and I think he absolutely deserves a spot on the list of elite. All right, next up to make the list of elite this week is Minkah Fitzpatrick. He was a dog. He's the entire reason that Pittsburgh won that game. He had a pick 6, so he was responsible for points. He also blocked the extra point that would have ended the game, sending them into overtime. Like, quite literally, he won them the game on multiple occasions. Every year he gets slept on in every ranking. Every year he gets slept on in Madden. When will people understand he is an animal? And something crazy about Minkah. He has been in the league for 6 seasons, and he is only 25. You guys are going to get a lot of work out of him yet, man. Miami gave up way too early. I'm not even sure what happened there. Wait, was he traded? Anyway, Minkah, you've been an absolute dog this week, and you have earned yourself a spot on the list of elite for week 1. All right, moving on, we got Carson Wentz from the Commanders. My predictions, again, weren't far off. I said if everything I was hearing about Wentz was true, he was going to be able to pick apart the Jags defense, and he did just that. Threw for 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, and carried a passer rating of 101. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch the full game. I'm not sure how ugly the interceptions were, but his bomb to Terry McLaurin was a dime. His connections with Jahan Dotson in the end zone look like something we're gonna see a lot of this year. They were clean and smooth. He was utilizing Gibson as a receiving back. I mean, he really was clicking on all cylinders. Maybe he just needed a new team. Maybe he just needed a team that believed in him. I was impressed with him this week, and I think Carson Wentz has earned himself a spot on the list of elite. You're a king. For week 1. Okay, next up we got another superstar. I'm giving it to Cooper Kupp. Dude, his touchdown grab was insane. His production versus the Bills defense was insane. The guy's always open. You can't cover him. Even though the Bills blew out the Rams, Cooper Kupp blew out the Bills while catching 13 receptions for 128 yards and a touchdown. I'm not kidding. He's got to be one of the smartest, most self-aware receivers I've ever seen play the game. Guys, if I was running in traffic to catch a football, my entire thought process would be to make sure that I just hang on to the ball itself. That's it. Cooper Kupp? Catching the ball, like I said with Jefferson, is pretty much an instinct. He's thinking about where his feet need to be and who's going to hit him from what direction. He's got eyes in the back of his head, it seems like at times. I mean, he's absolutely insane. Tell you right now, I don't think he's the best receiver in the league, but he is one of the most menacing to play against. And this week, he was an absolute dog and found himself on the list of elite. All right, next up, we got Kahlil Mack. Mack had 3 sacks, 5 tackles, and 1 forced fumble in his debut with the Chargers. How can you possibly ask for anything more than that, especially when a lot of people were saying he was cooked? He had 1 year where he missed like 7 games and people just assumed his career was over. It makes no sense. Dude, if Kahlil is gonna play like this all year alongside Joey Bosa, I don't want to play the Chargers ever. Honestly, they might be the scariest team in the league. Their defense outperformed their offense this week. That says something. Kahlil Mack, you've made the low, my friend. All right, next up on this list, we've got Nick Chubb. Yeah, I'm going to give him the spot. Chubb had 22 attempts for 141 yards and 6.4 yards a carry. The guy is a wrecking ball, a menace, a bully. He just plows through defensive lines like it's nothing. There's hardly anybody in the league that I think could actually tackle him in a one-on-one situation, so you've got a game plan to get him down. And half the time, it seems like that still doesn't work. Nick Chubb is a 5'11", 220-pound muscle. He's just one big muscle. I also find it weird how he stands in the backfield. He's not like, the typical running back. Most running backs are something like this. Maybe like this. This is how Nick Chubb stands to take a snap. No offense, Chubb, but how can someone look so unathletic and be so fucking good at something? Like, I don't get it. The guy's a dog. I love him to death, and he's absolutely on the list of elite. All right, so real quick, before we get into the last person, I want to give an honorable mention because he didn't do that good, but I thought he looked really good, and that's my Rookie of the Year pick, Drake London. Also, he's a lot bigger than I thought he was. Like, this guy's a fucking monster, dude. Anyway, the last person on the list of elite for week 1 is DAndre Swift. 15 carries, 144 yards, 9.6 yards an attempt, and of course a touchdown. This is impressive for 2 reasons. 1, the production is out of this world. 2, that was against the Philadelphia defense that I still think is really good. Crazy, DAndre Swift has been in the league for what, 2-3 seasons now? And I can already tell you undebatedly he is the best running back the Lions have had in the last 15 years. He's gonna be a staple in the Lions history, and he's gonna be a staple in the low for week 1 because DAndre Swift, you are absolutely elite. Alright guys, and that is going to be all for week 1's list of elite. If you did like this video, let me know and I can do it again next week. Also, you already know what to do to show support. Comment, like, subscribe, turn that bell on. I do my absolute best to post on this channel every single day. Who are some players that you guys think deserve attention but didn't get it? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, with everything I just said, I'm going to hop off and get this edited so you all can watch it on time. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and as always, I will see you in the next video.